Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and we are talking about that which is very, very important for each and every one of us. Being human beings, we find emotions play an important role in the way we lead our lives, and that also applies to a nation. And we hear that Indians are very emotional, and we sometimes wear our emotions on our sleeves, and that also plays its role when it is the season of elections, the biggest festival of democracy, and how emotions can be left out. But do we pay more attention to emotions or the logic, and how the issues that are going to shape Lok Sabha 2024? We'll talk about that. And let me have the welcoming Dr. Bhayani ji. I also have the presence of Rajendra ji, and now three of us together. together. And I would like you to open up, Dr. Rajji. Third phase of polling has taken place. The first response was lukewarm, and then there was some heat. And that heat, I would also say, was generated by wearing emotions on the sleeves, or sort of connecting or stimulating a sense of what might happen if Congress comes to the power. That statement of Prime Minister Narendra Modi appear to have changed the way things have started uh, following after that statement, where he talked about Mangal Sutra and that inheritance and wealth redistribution, etc. But now, talk to me. How do you feel today, the way Indian elections are moving?
Bilkul. So there is no doubt that Modi ji will come back to power, even though certain areas the polling has been low, which has been cause of concern. The I believe, and the insider intelligence says 335 for the BJP is real target. The 400 is actually to keep the psychological pressure on the opposition. But realistic view is going to be we will get 335 seats. And the scenario where Congress will come back is impossible for many reasons. They're not even running 270 seats to begin with. They're running, I think, 210 seats max in the country. They might think they will create alliances with the local Mamta and all these people. But if we actually look at the history, how long that unity will last is anybody's guess. So the target is 400. If we can achieve, great. But I think 335 is a very realistic objective and an achievement possible.
Okay, so here we are with Dr. Raj coming up with his anticipation of the number of seats which BJP may get. But let's talk about the issues also a little bit. And you have the opportunity, Rajendra ji, to share your views, whether you agree with his assessment of the way things are. Um, yeah.
Yeah, Ashok ji, if you remember, I also talked about the same, that 400 is impossible. And what I think, whatever we have done in 2019, as a BJP has done, was a 303, BJP itself. I'm not talking about the NDA, BJP itself, 302 or 303. I think there's a plus minus 10 can be there. And with the NDA, what is saying, Rajik is saying, 335 is a target. So if they achieve that, I think BJP will be very happy if that target is achieved. Because the type of issues which were there in 2019, and what I see, those things are not here today. And somehow, something on some are Congress is not doing that much of mistake which they have done in 2019 of talking to, saying that military and Pulwama, it doesn't happen, and saying those things which are there. They have talked more on the local issues that will make an effect on this election. So I'll be think that BJP will be happy if they get 10, 15 seat extra than 2019. But it might happen that they may have some 2, 3, because definitely in North and West, they are going to lose few seats because they have already saturated, and because of some regions, unemployment and all those which are there, and some in anti-incumbency there, small, not much, small. It always happens. with 10 years, and it always happens. Might lose some 5-10 seats. And if they correct, they get those 5-10 seats extra from South, it will be the same. And if they
Okay,
don't lose,
yeah.
if they don't lose in North and West, then those 10 seats will be extra.
Yeah, let me take it towards the national issues. So, Raji, of course, he mentioned you also probably referred to the importance of local issues. But Lok Sabha elections in most of the states, we have heard that for a state, while they go to vote, they have different priorities. But for Lok Sabha, national priorities take priority. And let me begin with a few points that comes to my mind. And number one is security of India, internal as well as external. So this is a real issue, but also the way emotions are attached, the kind of perception that different parties have in the minds of the voters. From that point of view, when you look at the alliance that includes, of course, Congress and other opposition parties versus the government led by Prime Minister Modi.
Definitely. See, the one more point I want to add to the initial calculation is the this historically, if BJP wins this election, this is probably historic only because consecutive three wins
Yeah.
has not happened before, and there is a, as we say, the fatigue of looking at the same party. That also happens quite a bit. So these are the factors against the 400 narrative. Now coming back to local issue, yes, definitely. See, the problem is with Hindus, as I can say, which is the vote bank for BJP. They are their apathy, inertia, and lack of sense of unity is the biggest single most factor which will prevent BJP come back to 400. BJP can come back to 400 even more if all the Hindus get their act together, unite, and go and vote. The problem is that, which is, I say to my friends, that it's in the genes which we have seen for thousands of years, where sense of unity and cohesiveness in the Indian Hindus community is not as strong as we see other religions. And we are not criticizing them, but it's creditable that if you see the Muslim voter turnout is constituency is 90%, 97%, 98%, while Hindus are going like 59% and when you see that discrepancy, that is very, very concerning, which is the same concern or same historically happened when the Shivaji is fighting with the Mughals or the Aurangzeb.
So let
Rajputs
me
are not with them.
allow me to interrupt you. And
Haji.
since we are talking about emotions also, so emotionally, I felt little uncomfortable the way you are considering the polling process involving clear-cut division based on religion. Maybe there are some data supporting your views, but I think that is not what we perceive Indian democracy is. And even while you hear Prime Minister Narendra Modi again and again referring to Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and all the development policies and the beneficiaries, they are not discriminated. So allow me to kind of hypothetically think, or rather request you to consider that Muslim voters are also supporting BJP. It is not that they are not going to support. And of course, you're right. Hindu voters will go by their preference, which is not necessarily based on the religious focus. I'll come back to you on this. And I think you have touched a very, very important current, which relates to emotions. So while people are criticizing BJP, they are saying that if they come to power, not only they are going to do away with the constitution, there will be Hindu Rashtra, etc. So they are catering to a certain emotional current, which again is to bring minorities to their fold. I'll have more space for you to express yourself. Let me hear Rajendra ji on this particular very very emotional, polarizing issue, which always comes to surface during election days, especially. Of course, it doesn't go away, but do you agree with what he said and add to it your own analysis?
I agree to what Dr. Raj is saying, and I would like to add a little bit onto it that where that cohesiveness comes because of a threat. And both the parties are creating a threat perception and creating a cohesiveness in their own vote bank. When it comes to the Congress, they are doing it from so many decades that RSS will kill you, that will happen. And they have been trying it. But what has happened that last 10 years, the government has been in full majority. They had all the powers. Even then, nothing bad happened to the Muslims to that. So the way Congress tried to cohesive all the Muslim votes and break the Hindus' votes, the same is being done by now the BJP in a different position. They are trying to cohesive all the Hindu votes and break the minority vote into Pasmanda and Qureshi and Ashraf and all those. So that's the politics. And uh, but I have a little work on it that if you remember last Karnataka election, there was a lot of Bajrang Bali and all those Hindu emotions were there, but the BJP is lost. What I think over here, that's like a bread, butter, and jam. Bread butter is what a party really does, and jam is just increases the taste and flavor of that. So these emotions are only the last mile, which can increase whatever you have a little bit flavor, which can affect 1 or 2% or 3% vote, which might be many times and a decisive voting to get you the seats. But if you don't have the real matter, like why the Congress is losing, because the Congress, whatever the government they had in the states, they did not perform well there. They did not show whatever they're talking about. That has not been shown there. Whatever they things, and that because of that, whatever they want to bring some emotions is not happening. But definitely, with whatever these days Congress is doing, Muslim votes are getting together. And just a human minute, I just saw one clip in on one of the interview of a Muslim. He said he asked him, "Do you get food?" Yes, I get food. Do you get Kishan? Yes, I get it. Have you got the house? Yes, I got. Have you got a laboratory? Yes, I got. Will you vote BJP? Will not vote. Why? Because these are the government things. They have no choice than not to give to me. So even now Congress comes, they'll have to give to me all those things. But the threat of perception is that which makes them mind. And
Yeah.
Hindu
So
being majority, threat of perception, you can't
right.
create that much.
Yeah. So I hear you, and I think in this age of social media and the digital revolution, which has not only reached our banking system, but the way information reaches us. And Rajiv, he's referring to one particular video that must have reached him. But there are multiple videos, and there are certain videos where you see Muslim community members are wholeheartedly supporting Prime Minister Modi. So I would say it is not like rice where you have one cooked, that means the whole cooked. So I think it is very difficult to have exact idea, but that direction of course is there. Now coming towards the logical part, he has also suggested the kind of development oriented approach which Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government have adopted. Now, you look at it logically, what is it that Congress or the opposition parties are offering? And everyone will not vote based on the perceived threat as is presented by opposition parties, saying that if Modi come back to power, then there'll be no more elections, etc. These kind of rhetoric we have been hearing for long. Talk to me about the logical side of voters as far as the perception of one who is going to work for national security, one who is going to prevent the number of terror attacks, the one who is going to take into account the wholesome development of India and give a certain global image for Bharat. So, over to you, Raj.
Means I would just briefly address the previous point. See, Hindu Muslim issue perception is absolutely not an emotional issue. I think we are miscategorizing it. It's a real issue which has been there thousands of years. So we cannot whitewash it saying that it's an emotional issue or kind of perception issue. Let's not make a mistake that Muslims, or for that matter, are not gullible people. They exactly know which party stands for them, which party has passed laws after laws to help them. Work board law, or the what is the other one, this secularism inclusion. And now in Karnataka there is a reservation for Muslims in the same quota as OBC. So the acts and the laws which are there, which are very, very clear pro Muslim, it's just the gullible Hindus which cannot see that.
Hmm.
They cannot see that, or they, there is a something called in medicine called Stockholm syndrome. So Stockholm syndrome means that the captive, let's say somebody gets kidnapped, there is the captive, the person who's a victim falls in love with the captive, and whatever the captive does, that perception is that, okay, this is the person who is doing this to me out of love. So the Hindus who support Congress party, they are delusional, and they don't have any idea, or they don't have any perception of the grasp that how much damage with all these different laws which has been passed has been done in the past by Congress government. Nehru did pass laws. The Indira Gandhi passed laws. Rajiv Gandhi passed that Shahabano thing. Then work board laws. There are laws after laws which favored the Muslims by Congress party. And Muslim party, if you just see there is Sunni Association of Muslims of India. They have open letter out to appealing all the Muslim people that their transportation to go to the voting booth, they must vote for Congress, because BJP is a party of RSS, is a party of Kafirs, and they should not vote for them.
Where are you coming from? You have heard these statements
No,
openly.
no, it's not open. It's open circular. I can share that with you. I cannot share now here. It's actually open circular Sunni Muslim Association of India. They are providing the transportation with one paragraph saying that you must vote for Congress because Congress is the only party which is pro-Muslim, and that is what it is.
Actually, we probably should have had somebody from Congress also to share their side. But somehow I'm reminded of the way things were organized during the visit of Rahul Gandhi, Rajendra ji, while he was here. Not Rajiv Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. Yeah. So uh, to participate and be present at the meeting where Rahul Gandhi was to address, many of the audience members were mobilized from many mosques. Many people don't know. So somehow there is a very close association. What you're saying, I won't deny. But I would put it that maybe Congress have their own way of sort of inspiring people towards them, and some people also operate from that perceived threat of if BJP comes back, it will be Hindu Rashtra, etc. So I just want to move slightly away. I hear both of you. I think this is emotional and logical both. I think it's a mixture because sometimes it is just the perceived threat that operates for the voters, and sometimes probably they have some logic based on their own exposure, which varies from community to community, and the whole India is not the same. And of course, we have had many instances. Unfortunately, as we speak, I'm also reminded that there is one Maulana who is caught for plotting the killings of some Hindu leaders, and that case is going on. You must have heard that. But moving beyond that, similarly, there are issues raised by Muslim community and on their behalf by Congress, where they talk about the extreme steps taken in the name of cow protection, etc. But I want to move away towards the other side of the real issues. When we say real issues, we talk about economic uh, growth of the nation as a whole and employment generation. And on that front, also, the way Rahul Gandhi came up with the idea of providing 1 lakh rupees every year, and khatakat, khatakat, khatakat. I mean, these are his terms which have found way everywhere. It brings smile to your face also, but is there any logic, or it is just playing to the emotions when Rahul Gandhi promised that he will remove poverty by providing these way of financial help? And also keep in mind what Modi government has done so far, parallel to what was offered by Rahul Gandhi. So both of you, I'll begin with you, Rajendra ji, this time. Briefly, please. How do you see?
So, what they are trying, and it's like in any socialist or communist move, that to give and they give the money to everybody, but it is only can be distributed when it can be created, that everybody knows. And I'm of the view the Indian voter is very, very smart, and it has been seen in Rajasthan. A lot of things were given free, but they did not vote Congress back. Okay, because they know the money which is being given is being taken by from us only. They don't get any money from anywhere else. So that is our own money. And then as an Indian, they would like to earn money then instead of getting, because in our religion, in our culture, the to live on donation is not being seen very good. Okay, it's only downtrodden, so you have to feel that you can't earn money then. So that's not going to work a lot. But what is going to happen now, which I was, if you seeing the Modi's interview, which has been done with the Navika, uh, I think it back. Something which is going to come, which I feel, and what he gave just in a feeling, and I think that he is going to bring a social security model in next 100 days, like you have in a US. So those who are young today are earning. So if they pay the taxes of social security tax or some type of tax for 10 years or 20 years, then they'll get a regular income from that particular fund. So it becomes like a pension, but the pension not on the cost of the government budget. It is what has been overall collected from the taxpayers and invested properly and getting. So Modi is also going the completely socialistic way, but there's a difference.
Sustainable.
It is sustainable socialistic way. So you have to have a sustainability in every way. What Rahul is saying is very short term things, that I'll do this so that he gets a vote. Now the short term things are not sustainable in long term till you don't have that. And as far as the Raji was saying about so many Muslims, favorable to Muslims laws has been made, the voter has already taken care of that and given in 2014 Narendra Modi a big this. So now if Modi says that so many, if they come, they will do, because it is taken in this election that they are not going to come.
Okay, so
Because
let me, yeah, allow me to interrupt. We just have a few minutes. I would like Dr. Raj to share logic and emotion together, the impact or the optics of Rahul Gandhi running from Rai Bareli and not coming back to Amethi, uh, and how it affects the voters emotionally. That is one question. And secondly, the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi's image global as well as in India, emotionally, how it plays in the minds of the voters.
See, the as a kind of people will say, I keep bashing our own fellows. See, Indian or Hindus don't unfortunately vote on the big picture of national security or the infrastructure. They just kind of a little bit selfish based on what I am getting out of it. And that is why, if you see in Karnataka, as soon as they said we're going to make the electricity free, the Congress won and BJP. I mean, there are, of course, there are a lot of other factors as well. The BJP government, which was in Karnataka before election, wasn't doing that great, but they did not fulfill their promise. That's a good thing for the Lok Sabha election, but the local state election, Congress won. So the emotions and the perspective are the big narrative. Let's say after the Article 370 was abrogated, people should have been not even think twice to vote for BJP, but still BJP lost few elections in certain states, if you're aware of that. Same thing after Ram Mandir inauguration. It should be no brainer in the people's heart and mind that there is no other way but we should vote for BJP. But still, BJP is struggling, the voter turnout is low, and we are a little bit concerned, and that's why we keep talking here. So, when the sense of, as I started in the beginning, unity, sense of purpose, sense of our duty, Hindus will wake up and work for the nation. This is not for themselves, it is for the nation. And which party is good, there is no doubt in anybody's mind that BJP has done a phenomenal job in last 10 years. We don't have to keep re-emphasizing to them. There are reports and articles and media and everything is there.
So yeah,
Everybody has gas connections, everybody has the cylinders, there is a toilet, people got the houses, the roads are great, tunnels are wonderful, everything is there, that trains are running well, there is no terrorist attack. What else do you want? What
so
else
we
do these
want.
people want?
Yeah.
To
I,
so
I
that they
think
come out in big numbers and vote. They still sit home or go on a vacation. I would say it's unfortunate, shameful act on our fellow brothers. We cannot blame the other party all the time. We need to analyze what is that we are lacking and what we can do to work on that.
okay, so I have to kind of stop there, and I'll quickly mention my two disagreements with you. Number one, I will not say that Indian voters are selfish. They have their own intelligence and wisdom, and they'll say, Dr. Raj Vyani, you left India, you have become an American citizen. What right
Okay.
do you have to call
That's
us?
fair criticism. I'll accept it.
Okay, so
That,
that is one. Yeah, that is
but
one. And
see,
secondly,
I will counter that. Why I left, this situation when I left was very dire. There were no opportunities in India for people. And
no,
that
no,
time the Congress
no,
government was running
what,
India in a way.
whatever
Hello.
explanation you
Right.
give will not be acceptable because
Right.
ultimately you ran away. So
Okay.
for that
Fair
they'll
enough.
say for all NRIs.
I would take that.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, the people need to, without even thinking, we got to go out and vote.
Yeah,
That's all
vote
I'm
is
saying.
good, and who they vote for is their own choice, and they have their own package of emotions and logic. And I
Yeah.
think it has been quite stimulating because you are rooted in your ideas very deeply.
Mhm.
Some would agree, some would disagree, and that is
Fair
the
enough. That's why
beauty.
this is a debate. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is the beauty of democracy. And
Right.
Rajendra, we just have 30 seconds for you to sum up from your side. Anything you want to add?
And let's just say that what Raji is saying, that there's a problem with the Hindus, and that had been a problem and accepted problem, and RSS is working on that from last 100 years, and that's why you see that BJP is there in government. I only would request, and through this channel, if in case this, what I feel bad as an, you say, I am also associated. You know, my family, all are RSS family, and they have been, my uncle have been pracharak for whole of the this. But what I feel bad that nowadays everywhere then we go and talk, Modi says, I am, I am, I am, I am. Whatever he has done is like a crown on the overall. It is top. But what has been done by the generations of the workers, and there's a left their houses, and where he is also one of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have to leave it at there. No, we don't have time. I'm sorry, but
Just a second, 30 seconds, let me complete 30
no, no,
seconds.
you took 1 minute already.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I think what happens is when you are operating as an individual, if you say something, you'll say, I, Rajendra Harsh. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi sums up everything, and then when he'll say, of course, it is Modi ki guarantee, it is not RSS and all the traditions guarantee. But anyway, it is going to be interesting to see 5th June, but we will be talking about Indian elections in the meantime also. Thanking you, Dr. Rajji and Rajendraji, and thanking
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
each and
Thank you,
every one
Ashokji, for
of
opportunity.
our viewers with lots of good wishes. Namaste.
Thank you.